Using the autograder. The autograder is now live and I will briefly show you how to use it. First, of course, you go to your homework assignment and you read it very carefully, and then you would download homework1.py as instructed, and I'll go ahead and keep that. You would start to edit homework1.py, which I will do right here. Well, of course, eventually you should put all your solutions in here, and the idea is to write your homework and test it thoroughly before you ever submit it. The autograder is not intended to be a debugging facility for you, simply to give you a grade. And it's a bad idea to use it as a debugger because you won't develop the skills you need to debug your own code. In any case, Homework 1 has a great many test cases provided for you. I just ran the code, and of course it failed because all these don't work, but down here you have all these test cases. So make sure you pass your own test cases before you submit. Also, make sure you understand this ignore rest line. Everything above the line, and only the stuff above the line, is what's going to be auto-graded. Everything below the line is ignored. The autograder will ignore the code below here. So that's where you put your tests, because you don't want this auto-graded. You want your nearest bus stop auto-graded, but you don't want the test cases auto-graded. Plus, don't ever run code above here. Define functions, and that's it. If you're going to run code, as we do only in one place in this file, way down here, this is the only top-level call we make. Just make sure that's below ignore rest, and the autograder will be happy. In any case, once you think you've solved homework 1, which naturally I've not done yet here, you would go to the autolab link, and here we are, and you probably can't install assessments, but I can. Go to homework 1 in this case. Go to, I probably have more options again than you have, but you would have, down here, options. How about view hand in history? No, so there it is, submit file. And I'll go to submit file. Actually, let's actually cancel for a moment. Look, I have 20 submissions left, and it's due tomorrow at 10 p.m., Sunday at 10 p.m. Last day to hand in is Monday at 10 p.m., but that would be with that 1-day 10-point late penalty, or using up one of your 3 grace days if you have grace days. I go to the submit file, and I'm going to submit from my desktop. I'm going to go ahead and submit homework1.py. And I just submitted it. Now you have to understand what we're looking at here. This screen here shows that I submitted it, but at the same time, we don't have a final grade yet. Autolab works asynchronously, which is to say, at some time in the future, your grading will be completed, usually quite quickly. When it is, this page, unfortunately, will not update, which is to say, you're going to have to update this page on your own. So you go and reload the page. See, I have the reload button there, and when I reload it, when I reload it, that's probably not the best way to have done that. Here it is. I have an auto score now. I could also, by the way, have viewed my hand in history, but I have an auto score. That's the key. I was looking for that auto score. I scored 0 points. There's also the CA session that those 20 points are not auto-graded. That's from when you meet with your CA for homework 1. The auto score is what you're looking for. Now, when you see whatever your score is, there's a lot more information to be had, but you have to click on it right there. And now I see lots and lots and lots of information. And what you're going to see at the bottom is a list of your score per problem and a list of your total score overall. In this case, 0 out of 80 points. And then you can see where you missed your points per problem. And then for each problem, you can scroll up here, and it will tell you the failed cases in almost every case. So here, nearest bus stop of 0 was expected to get 0, but my code returned 42. Set kth digit of these parameters, 102003, should have returned 1023, and I returned 42. Of course, I returned 42 because of this. I mean, just returning 42. But the point is, you get very detailed information about the test cases that failed. You should definitely consume this information in trying to determine what to do about this. One thing you cannot do, though, would be strictly forbidden, would be to hard code the test cases. So, for instance, I'll select this code here, and I'll go into my code here, and I'll paste, and I'll say, all right, if n is 1020 and k is 0 and d is 3, then return 1023, else return 42. I've just taken this specific test and completely hard-coded it in my code. And I will pass that test. The autograder does not know any better. So if I were to go here and submit my code, let's go back to homework 1, and let's go back to submit file. Let's off my desktop do homework1.py again, and we're off to the races. By the way, I think if you right-click on here and reload frame, you, instead of using this reload button, you'll be happier, as evidenced by that. I got a 0 again, but this time I failed a different test inside set kth digit, which is to say I passed a test, but I did it completely illegally by hard coding the test in my code, which is expressly forbidden in the syllabus. So please don't do that. Anyway, when you have your errors, go back, modify your test cases, which is what I would recommend. Instead of doing what I did where I just modified my code, I would have added that test case to my test cases. Make sure your code works again and then submit again. And that are the basics of using autolab.